Namaskar. I am Dr. Satyapol, Associate Professor of English, Government National College Sirsa. This lecture is being recorded under the aegis of Director General Higher Education Haryana for undergraduate science classes. Today's lecture is for BSc Semester 1. We shall study William Blake's poem, The Little Black Boy. This poem contains a beautiful message which is relevant even today, as discrimination on various grounds is still prevalent in various parts of the world. This poem tells us that we human beings, irrespective of colors of our bodies, are equally dear to God. Before going into the details of this poem, let's know our poet first. William Blake was born in 1757. This 18th century British poet lived between two great ages of English poetry, neoclassical age of Dryden and Pope and romantic age of Wordsworth, Coleridge, etc., which began in 1798 with the publication of Lyrical Ballads, which has been called an unofficial manifesto of Romanticism, which was written by Wordsworth and S.T. Coleridge. That's why this poet has been called pre-romantic. William Blake had no formal education and he lived a life of obscurity. He went to academy but only to learn drawing. He lived a life of obscurity. What do I mean by this? I mean people hardly recognized his poetic skills before his death. He was a little bit known for his paintings but not for his poems. He trained himself as a, as a painter and he married Catherine Boucher in 1782. He apprenticed to a well-known engraver, James Bessie, and adopted engraving as an occupation. Engraving means खुदाई का जो काम होता है टूम्स पे, वॉल्स पे, मेटल शीट्स पे जो खुदाई करते हैं, that is called engraving. William Blake adopted engraving. He earned his livelihood through this profession and became well known as a poet also. Some of William Blake's paintings I will show you soon. Let's see them. Look at this beautiful painting. It is by William Blake. A tiger appears to be here on the page. This picture formed the title page of his poetic volume, which came to be known as Songs of Innocence and of Experience. Here is another poem and another painting by William Blake. The tiger poem has been painted here with a picture of a tiger and a tree. Tiger, tiger, burning bright. This poem has become very famous. This is the painting with which the poem, The Little Black Boy, came. The poem is in our syllabus and we are going to study this poem today. Let's discuss William Blake's works in brief. Songs of Innocence, which came in 1789, was the first volume of his poetry, and soon after his work Songs of Experience came, and then the two got combined in one volume which came in 1794. Songs of Innocence and of Experience, this came together in one volume in 1794. William Blake was a very sensitive soul and he questioned the values of his age. He raised his voice against exploitation and racial discrimination. His poetry is simple, revolutionary, and lyrical, just like the poetry of romantic poets. How simple yet revolutionary his poetry is, we can see by reading his poem. The poem which is prescribed in our syllabus is The Little Black Boy. Let's read the poem The Little Black Boy. My mother bore me in the southern wilds, and I am black. But oh, my soul is white. White as an angel is the English child, but I am black, as if bereaved of light. Here the little black boy, the innocent Negro boy speaks. He says that his mother gave him birth in the south, and because of that he is black, because southern hemisphere is very hot, and in those conditions the color of skin becomes black. Suddenly he is reminded, he becomes conscious of the blackness of his body and his color, and he says, but oh, my soul is white. My soul is white. Here white means pure and good, while black means evil and bad. The contrast of black and white reminds him that while as an angel is the English child, but I am black. See the third and fourth line. White as an angel is the English child, but I am black as if bereft of light. He becomes conscious of his color and feels inferior. See how and I am black of line number 2 gets changed to but I am black in line number 4. So, but I am black as if bereaved of light. Bereaved means deprived, devoid. The poet uses a simile and compares the English child with an angel. While the Negro boy is black in color, the English boy is white like an angel. English boy white like an angel, and the black boy says, I'm deprived of light. This contrast of black and white fills the Negro boy with pain. To me, these lines appear to be remarkable for their imagery. The poet has used remarkable images like black, white, angel, light, the contrast between body and soul, the contrast between evil and good, the contrast between black and white has been highlighted. Apart from this, inner and outer, the soul and body, they have been contrasted here. The black boy feels inferior, that he is black, though his soul is pure and good, while the English child is white. He wants to become white like the English child. He feels inferior and believes that he has been devoid of light. My mother taught me underneath a tree, and sitting down before the heat of day, she took me on her lap and kissed me, and pointing to the east, began to say, here, my mother, ma and ma in the beginning of these two words, my mother, both the words begin with ma sound and hence it is an alliteration. My mother, this is repetition also. The last stanza, which was the first stanza of the poem, also began with the same sounds. That was also my mother. So this stanza, my mother taught me underneath a tree and sitting down before the heat of day. One day, says the little black boy, one day my mother took me in her lap. She loved me before dawn and she pointed to the east and told me, here east is a symbol. East is a symbol of new beginning. East is a symbol of hope and expectation. The boy feels that his mother loves him a lot and it is she who is her true guide, and he wants some information, he wants some help, he wants some consolation from the mother who is guiding him, and she kisses him, she takes him in her lap, and while she points towards the east, she tells him, look on the rising sun. There God does live and gives his light and gives his heat away. And flowers and trees and beasts and men receive comfort in morning, joy in the noonday. Notice, inverted commas begin here. Now it is the mother who is speaking. The mother speaks, that's why these commas begin. The mother says, look on the rising sun, there God does live. Look on the rising sun, there God does live, and gives his light and gives his heat away. Mother is the speaker. She asks the little black boy to look at the sun. Look at the sun in the east. And she tells him that there God does live. The mother consoles the boy. She continues and tells him that it is in the east that God lives. The sun is God because he gives us heat and light, and gives his light and gives his heat away. It is the sun, God, who gives us his light, who gives us heat. Notice the capitalization of the word of the pronoun his. Why this has been capitalized? Because this pronoun his has been used for God. That is why it has been capitalized. Now God gives his heat and light to us, says the mother to her son. Not only to us, not only to blacks, but to whites, and flowers and trees and beasts and men receive. Not only to human beings, not only to blacks and whites, but to flowers, flora and fauna, flowers and trees, to animals, and to men who receive the heat and light of the sun, and they feel comfort in morning, joy in the noonday. The mother consoles the son. She tells the sun that God treats all equally. Sun or God is a symbol of impartiality, unlike human beings. We human beings, we become partial time and again. Not only Indians, the people all over the world are the same. But God and Sun, God or Sun, that is the symbol of impartiality. Now, God or Sun who gives us heat and light, he gives us in equal measure to all human beings all over the world. The light and heat he give us comfort in morning and joy in the noonday. Now see the third line, how he writes. And flowers and trees and beasts and men. In prose we do not write like this. We write like flowers, comma, trees, comma, beasts and men. But the poet, for emphasis, he uses this method. This is cataloging style. He makes a list of flowers, trees, beasts and men. But why he puts men in the end? What is the reason for it? Why he puts men in the end? This cataloging style brings men towards the end. Perhaps Blake has done this by design because man is discriminatory. That is why man has been put in the end of the list. And again, the images of sun, heat, light, flower, trees and beasts, these images have been used to express his feelings and to give an idea of how sun is impartial to all human beings, all animals and flora and fauna. These images have been used. And we are put on earth a little space that we may learn to bear the beams of love, and these black bodies and this sunburned face is but a cloud and like a shady groove. Here the mother continues to console the little black boy. She tells him, and we are put on earth a little space. It means, she says, my son, we have been sent to this earth for learning, to learn how to bear beams of love. This earthly life is a preparation for heavenly life. This is a learning. We are here for a short while. After that, we shall go back to heaven. where we shall be happy, we shall be under the patronage of God. All blacks and whites, they will go there, they will go to heaven, and they will be under the eyes of God. And these black bodies alliteration has been used, Berber sound in the beginning. These black bodies and this sunburnt face is but a cloud. She tells her son that these bodies and the sun-baked faces are like a cloud, like an illusion, like a shady groove. And this is discrimination, blacks and whites. This is earthly life where such discrimination is made. The identity of black and white becomes meaningless when we reach heaven. After this life on earth, we shall go to heaven, and this illusion of superiority or inferiority will be shattered. The cloud will vanish, and these black bodies and sunburnt face, they will not mean anything. Like the earlier stanzas, in this stanza of 4 lines too, the poet has used functional images. Sunburnt faces. Sunburnt faces signify hard labor. Cloud image has been introduced here. In line number 4 is but a cloud. This image of cloud comes again and again in the remaining lines of the poem. In the remaining stanzas, it will come again and again. In these lines, the tone is consoling. The mother consoles the son and tells him that this earthly life will end very soon, and we will go to heaven where there will not be any discrimination. For when our souls have learned the heat to bear, the cloud will vanish, and we shall hear his voice, saying, "Come out from the grove, my love and care, and round my golden tent like lambs rejoice." For when our souls have learned the heat to bear, the mother is consoling. She continues with the same idea. She says that we are here on this earth to learn, and the same idea has been emphasized here in this stanza once again. She tells him, for when our souls have learned to the heat to bear, the cloud will vanish. She tells her child that this earthly life is preparation. When we will be trained in the art of bearing heat, of living together with love, then the cloud will vanish, then the illusion will shatter, and we shall hear God's voice. What will God say? Saying, what will he say? Come out from the grove, my love and care, and round my golden tent like lambs rejoice. We shall hear God's voice. He will say that come out of your illusions. Come out, you are my love, you are my care. You should come to me, and you should play round my golden tent like lambs. Lambs which are symbolic of innocence. God will invite us. He will say that come out of your narrow illusions, come out of your cloud, and round my golden tent like lambs rejoice. He'll say, you all blacks as well as whites, you all belong to me. You all belong to me. You all are my children, my love. Come to my golden tent. Golden tent means heaven, and play here together joyfully. Joyfully, he says. The image of cloud comes again. It came in the last stanza, and here it comes again. It stands for illusion of complexes, complexes of superiority and inferiority. Groove is another image. It is an image of darkness. The poet uses the personal possessive pronoun my for belongingness. God says, come out of the groove, my love and care. God says, you black as well as white people, you are mine, you are my people. Capitalization of pronoun my is for emphasis. M has been capitalized. My love and care, he says, and the image of golden tent which stands for heaven. Golden color or gold is a precious metal. That is precious. Our life in heaven is precious. That is a better life. This earthly life is mere preparation. Color images have been used in this poem, black and white and now golden color. The poet makes use of the symbol lambs, like lambs rejoice. Here, like lambs, there is alliteration as well as simile. Simile because lambs have been compared with little children. Lambs signify, they symbolize innocence. Finally, the inverted comma comes to close. The mother has ended her speech, and also God's message has been completed here. Thus did my mother say and kissed me, and thus I say to little English boy, when I from black and he from white cloud free, and round the tent of God like lambs we joy. The little black boy tells what his mother taught him. He says that the same lesson which my mother taught me, I teach to the English boy. When I from black and he from white cloud free, when we will emerge out of our complexes, when we will emerge out of our complexes, only then round the tent of God like lambs we joy. Only then we shall be able to enjoy heaven. When we come out of our narrow thinking, we come out of our narrow divisions. We innocent children like lambs, we will feel joy in each other's company. The little black boy reasserts that we have to come out of our complexes of black and white. Only then we will be able to reach heaven. Only then life can become heaven. The image of cloud, which appeared again and again in the poem, appears in this stanza once again. The narrow thinking of black and white get rejected, and it is asserted that in God's tent we all are equal. These are the paragraphs of paraphrase, line wise. You can note them down and can use them, can read them. They are in simple language. Since we have understood the meaning of the poem, we should look into the poetic beauty in the poem. Thematically, this poem, The Little Black Boy, highlights practice of racial discrimination which supposed that the blacks were inferior to the whites. The practice of considering blacks as low people and purchasing them as slaves was fashionable in London as well as in the United States of America before 1865, when slavery became illegal in America. William Blake raises his voice against such inhuman practices. He chooses an innocent, lamb-like little black boy to give poignant expression to the feelings of the black community through this poem. See how this black boy tries to convince the world that he too is an equal partner in the object of God's love. William Blake uses four-line stanza, which is called quatrain. The rhyme scheme remains A B A B. If you look at the last word of line number one, my mother bore me in the sun wild, then it is wild. Last word of second line is white, and third line is child and light. So rhyme scheme becomes A B A B. If we talk about the structure of the poem, then we can divide the poem in three parts. The first part consists of stanza 1 and 2, where the little black boy conveys a Negro child's pain arising out of racial consciousness. He feels a sense of self-hatred as he believes that God has favored the English boy by making him white and has bereaved him of light, bereaved the black boy of light. In the second stanza, he tries to come out of pain by thinking of his mother's love, who teaches him that when we reach heaven, the cloud of discrimination will vanish. In the second part, consisting of next three stanzas, stanza number 3, 4, and 5, offers his mother's consolation. She tries to console the child with her vision that this earthly life is a preparation, a probation, and we shall soon go to heaven where God will love all equally. She tries to instill a sense of pride in the little black boy by telling him that his black body is better adopted as compared to that of the white boy for bearing God's love. She does not teach him any hate, rather, she teaches him love. Notice her use of pronoun here. And we are put on earth a little space, and we may learn to bear the beams of love. She teaches him not to be you and him or you and me. Rather, she combines all in her we, which signifies that we, all human beings, are one. Now, meter, if we talk about, so the poet uses iambic pentameter, which is very close to speech rhythm. The poem goes like a chat between the child and his mother. Iambic pentameter, in which a pattern of unstressed followed by a stressed syllable remains the pattern. There are 5 feet in each line. If you look at these lines, then my mother, my, my and ma forms 1 feet. My is unstressed, ma is stressed, the is unstressed, and bore is stressed. Me is unstressed, in is stressed. This way, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, and 5 feet means my mo forms 1 feet, the bo 1 feet. Like this, there are 5 feet in these lines, and this is how iambic pentameter is formed. The third part structure I was talking about. The third part consists of stanza 6 and 7, where William Blake shows the boy's sensitive consciousness towards racial discrimination. He knows that racial discrimination proves him to be inferior to the English boy, but he begins nurturing a hope that once released from the black and white bodies, the two boys will play together in heaven. He imagines that he will shade the English boy from heat and will stalk his silver hair out of love. And the white boy will love him. That the little black boy has a sensitive consciousness of inferiority gets underlined by the fact that he wants to be like the white boy. Now, notice the use of a s sound in the final stanza, where the boy becomes happy to imagine that he will play with the white boy and the white boy will love him. The whistling sound s in this stanza, the little black boy imagines playing with the boy in heaven, and I'll stand and stroke his silver hair. Actually, it should be and then I'll stand and stroke his silver hair. Notice these 3 sounds: stand, stroke, silver, whistling sound. This signifies enjoyment. After reading the poem, I want to ask you some questions. Can you answer these questions? My first question is, what does the little boy mean by bereaved of light? Second question is, what does the black boy long for? Next question is, what is the central idea of this poem? Question 4, what lesson do you learn from this poem? And question number 5, which is not a question actually, this is a practice. Let's practice these words, how you pronounce them. The first word, B-L-A-C-K. Pronounce this word. Black, B-L-A-K-E. Blake, S-O-U-T-H-E-R-N. It's a very common word, usually mispronounced. Southern, B-E-R-E-A-V-E-D. Bereaved, K-I-S-S-E-D, kissed. The final sound of this word is t and not d. It is not kissed, it is kissed. And the rule is, if a word which ends in ed, the sound before ed, if that sound is p, t, k, ch, f, th, s, sh or h, then the final ed is pronounced as t and not d. So this word K-I-S-S-E-D, the final sound before ed is s. This word will be pronounced as kissed rather than kissed. Thank you very much for watching this video. Happy learning.